TGIF. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. I know you are ready for the weekend to begin. So, welcome to the Just Ask Char advice channel. We will be getting started very soon. So get comfortable, get ready, and relax. We sincerely thank you all for your support. This channel is sponsored by you, the subscribers. When you want to hear another perspective for yourself or a friend, then just send an email for advice to JustAskChar@gmail.com. All right, we are ready to get this show started. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. There will always be a perspective or some advice that someone can benefit from and use. Now, here's your host of the show, Char Willie.
Greetings, TGIF. What's going on, good people? Hope you are enjoying the beginning of your weekend. Even though most people had a 4-day work week, it still felt like a full week to me. That's what I got to say. But hopefully you all are well, doing good. And, I just realized a little earlier when I had to actually write the date on a note for myself what day it was. I said, oh, I'm like, wow. And still a lot of the people involved are not arrested. But then again, you couldn't arrest your government, right? Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. I must tell everyone that I was derelict in my deferment date. Yes, I was derelict. I had told you guys to defer. And I did so. But what ended up happening was I was told that I can defer for 3 months. And after that, I can call and get my interest rate lower or even get some payments, kind of disappear. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't check the date when it came down to the billing. So because of that, I would end up missing when I actually was able to call back. I'm like, darn, I missed it like 6 days. Oh well, these things happen. But other than that, I want you guys not to be discouraged. I know this is some challenging times. A lot of people are losing their jobs, places going out of business. You don't even want to say downsizing, you just say going out of business because that's actually what's happening. And the numbers are just skyrocketing. Um, it has been reported that almost a million people, which is 880,000, had applied for unemployment this week. Now, you can apply Saturdays and Sundays online, so that's not counting what's going to happen tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm thinking it's probably going to get up to a million. I wouldn't be surprised. And they also reported that 20 million people actually jobs, 20 million jobs in the last decade has been lost. I'm like, that is a lot of jobs. And of course, a lot of them not coming back. And did you know that in Tennessee, that was one of the first states that went on to approve the $300 every week for unemployment? Because I think it was four I read off when I got the news and I shared with you guys. Well, that money is gone. They tapped out. So that extra $300 is gone, you know? And Illinois, they're supposed to had started this past Monday, but it was reported that it was not in people's unemployment check. So maybe next week, but it's only going to be 3 weeks. At least Tennessee got 6, I'm told. Illinois is only going to get 3. I'm like, wow. And Hawaii has the highest unemployment rate. And I could see that. I really can, because a lot of this stuff is from tourism. So no one's traveling, no luau's, no nothing. So what are people going to do? Like I said, don't be discouraged because it's just some challenging times right now. And I've told people many times I've never read an autobiography where the person died. And how could they? Because they wrote it themselves. You're going to read where people, and you're going to hear when people have testimonies that they slept on a friend's couch, in the street, park bench, in their car, but never did they die. They just lost their money, maybe their spouse, friend, and even a dog. But one day they made it. They made it through. So you have to be encouraged. You have to try to stay encouraged. And now I know a lot of folks talk about the president, and yeah, this is what I have to say. Everyone can learn something from a fool every once in a while. And I remember when he had a debate with Hillary, and Hillary came out the gate. Yeah, you filed for bankruptcy 4 times, or however many times she said. And he had just a nice little straight face. And he said, I was able to do so because those were allowed to me. I didn't break any laws. And I looked at the television. I'm like, you know what? You're right. She tried to make it a negative, but you are well within your right. And I say that to say, if that's what you may have to do as an individual, don't feel bad. You have the right to do so because you do. And there are going to be a lot of people, and I do mean people as well as companies, that are going to and have already filed for bankruptcy. So If you're in line for that, don't feel bad. It's just something that you may have to do. All right. So, hope I gave you a little encouragement. It may have sounded a little sad, but it's not. It's encouragement, you know. Come back next week. I hope to encourage you some more. I have maybe some better news, tell you where to get some money from and maybe a job, something. I'm always looking for just something to tell you guys to keep you encouraged because that's what we have to do with each other. And I think I see someone. Let's see who that is. Is that Ruby? I Yes, it is. Classic Ruby, everyone. Classic Ruby.
What's up, y'all? I know. Every time I come, I just missed Pokeroo, but I swear I'm not Pokeroo. What's up? Good evening. Happy Friday, everyone. I know we're all happy to make it to this weekend. How you doing, Shar?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little bit surprised. I gotta say, in all my days, I never thought I would hear Shar having to admit she was derelict. Oh, Lord
Yes.
Jesus, derelict. Hurt my
Yes.
soul, girl.
Yeah, I was there looking my deferment date. I was
Mm.
6 days late. Just 6 days.
See, girl, this is what happens, right? We get so focused on one side of money, i.e., the pension, right, that we forget about the other sides of money, i.e., deferment. You see, this is what happens, right? We have to be a little bit more multitasking in our endeavors, right? We got to be on top of all of it everywhere we go. That's just it. I think what we need to do is we need to have a support group for this kind of stuff. Girl, you do your deferment
Oh,
yet? When do you have deferment till? Okay, everybody, okay, we got to
uh-huh.
support Susie May because she got to get hers in before Tuesday, right? And then it's John on Thursday. See what I mean? We got to start
Uh-huh.
supporting each other. Each one teach one. Yeah, got
Okay.
this.
I
Mhm.
like it. I like it.
All right. Start deferment circles on Sunday afternoons, ladies and gentlemen.
You heard it here first, guys. You heard it
Mhm.
here first. All right. Well, hopefully, let me take this off the screen. It's still running. Hopefully, we'll have people to join the show and give their comments because I think this will be kind of interesting. And I know if you're over the age of 25, you've seen something. You've seen someone do something with somebody. I know you have. So I'm going to share the video here so we can hear it. And let's see what the audience says about it. That's what I want to know.
All right.
Let's see this kissing and telling. Let's see here.
I already know this one's gonna make Ruby look so bad all over high and low. Oh my god. I already know. I already know. I already know. Yep.
Uh-oh,
I
no.
already know. I already know. Any women got on this panel today, they are gonna be like, you. I already know. I feel this one. I feel it. I know where it's going. I can feel it in my bones. Ruby is gonna be the guilty party today. All right, let's go ahead.
All right.
All right.
Today I have a letter from a gentleman, and I'm ready to get started. He writes, Dear Shar, my best friend and I met our wives while in the military. We hang out occasionally when we can for vacations, since we are on active duty, except for him. My wife saw him with another woman just a few days before we were scheduled to go on vacation. She said he was tongue kissing this woman, and she knows he could not claim her to be. She wants to tell his wife, and I told her to mind her business. My buddy has always been a ladies' man. What my wife doesn't know is his wife is already considering divorcing him while he is now unemployed. I wish I knew what to tell him, but his marriage is a ship heading for the rocks. What advice would you give my wife about telling his wife and about his situation? Thank you for your letter. All
Yep.
righty then.
Yep, that's kind of just the way I thought it was gonna go. I know my advice is gonna be, and I know everyone's gonna look at me like I'm the demon from hell. I already know, especially ladies, right? Men, maybe not. Ladies are gonna look at me like, I can't believe you, you traitor. But okay. But first, break it down for us, Shar. I know you like to break it down. I will reserve my commentary. Okay.
Okay, I'll keep it light. I'll keep it light. And then, we'll see where it goes. Um, well, I told him, in my opinion, she should not tell that man. I mean, that woman should not tell a friend. Yeah. Um, you know what normally end up happening? They resent you. You lose the friendship, and it don't work out with that other person anyway. But you end up losing your friend. Now, I'll share one particular time. I have a friend that she married well, we were all, young teenagers, whatever. And I met her now husband friend. And at the time that we were dating, hanging out and everything, um, he, the guy that I was dating for a hot minute, he was also hitting on my friend. So I didn't know, nor did her husband know, or her now husband know. So we didn't know that. She never said anything to neither one of us. I found out much later, and it didn't make me any difference if she would have said something. But some people it do. Some people like, oh, you trying to get with him and blah blah blah. Everybody, take things differently. For me, it wouldn't fade me. It just wouldn't have phased me at all. But I do find that a lot of people lose friendships when they say, well, I saw your man, he was with her, and all of that. It gets messy and ugly. So, yeah. So that's my experience.
See, and we agree. We agree. But see, to me, you take it to the way that I feel like, most women can kind of relate to and understand. Yeah, that's true. That did happen to me once. Because I think most people come from this, especially as women, right? We come from like, would I want to know, right? I would want to know. I know I would act, appropriately with that information, right? I would be thankful if you gave me that information. So we like to react like that, like, well, I would do it because I would personally want to know. And see, for me, I agree with you, and I actually agree with that. It's a two-part situation here, but my number one reason for not telling, like especially in this case, to me, that okay, so the two friends, right? These
Mm-hmm.
two boys, they have a long-standing friendship, right? And
Right.
so, I'm not trying to say this in a bad way, but bros before hoes. It is what it comes down to is you have your friends back before you have the people they're dating's back, right? That's just how things are supposed to be. Uh, to me, okay, this wife is an extension of one of the brothers in this situation, which means
Okay.
her allegiance needs to be to her husband and therefore to that broship friendship,
Mm-hmm.
um, more than it needs to be to, female solidarity. Like, I'm sorry, but as terrible as that sounds, like she could go confront the friend if she wants. You know what I mean? She could
Mm-hmm.
try to push her husband into pushing the friend into doing what she wants. She could try to manipulate stuff behind the scenes if she really wants to try to get that woman to get the information. But to me, if she goes to that woman now and tells that woman, to me, she is betraying the friendship. So she's betraying the best friend, and she's betraying her husband, especially because she did go to her husband. Her husband said no, because they clearly have that arrangement amongst them. They might not be happy. You don't know what skeletons are in your husband's closet. And you might think, well, I want all those skeletons to come out, but they might not have anything to do with you. They could be things that could ruin his life. You don't know what the best friend has been, covering for, secrets they've kept for each other.
Nope.
Exactly, right? They've built stuff with each other along the way for years, and you're going to decide that this should be violated at this point in time, and then you put your husband in the position where, of course, you're his wife, so he's not going to divorce you over it, but you put him in this position. Then, like, I just think overall, like, no, it's none of your business. First of all, it's really none of your business, because unless you're trying to tell me he happens to be married to your sister, what is your allegiance to this woman anyway, first of all? And second of all, even if you gotten to know her and you're friendly with her, then we go back to what Char said. It's not going to end well for you. It's not 150% for sure. So I have almost never seen it work out.
Nope, I've never seen it work. And did you hear that music? That was for you.
Nope.
I really, really, really haven't. It works out temporarily. That's the thing people always seem to forget, right? There's that initial, thanks for telling me, you show the pictures, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's say you got evidence, not just he said, she said stuff, which is what this woman is saying right now, which then I got to wonder, like, I don't know. You don't have any evidence you really saw this. So that's not really going to help you. But, even if you had the evidence, at first she might be thankful to you. But then when she's angry and hurt and bitter and whatever, she's going to have to cast stones at someone. She's going to have to blame someone. And it's easier to blame you, little Miss Third Party, than it is to blame the love of her life. Right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So who do you think is going to eat that one? Like, it's not, I got a great story for y'all. Great story time. Ruby loves her story times. Okay. So I was with the love of my life when I was 19 to 23, right? And I was, after the first, I'm going to say about a year or so, I was convinced he had cheated on me. Not just once, but it's like I would get this feeling in my soul every time he did it, right? And then, I would all lose my mind. I turned into amateur private detective, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Trying to catch him in the act about something that I knew for sure was happening. Now, everyone but me was convinced. My people, my family, friends, everyone was convinced this man loved me to death. He would never do anything to hurt me. He would never cheat on me. I am just crazy. In fact, I'm the lucky one in this relationship. I better shut my mouth. That's kind of like the way people treated it. Until 5 years later, right? Good into relationship counseling. Things are going really good. And suddenly I get a phone call. I got a phone call from this chick. This is his crazy ex-girlfriend, not the ex before me, the one before that, the one who already tried to ruin his previous relationship by exposing that he cheated with her to the new girlfriend at least once before. So, like, came and did all kinds of crazy stuff. She's crazy. To come and tell me that not only was she sleeping with him, but to tell me everybody who had slept with him, everybody. She had gotten him over the series of months to confide in her, because she said, listen, I'm not going to sleep with you and trust you and whatever unless you tell me everything that you've done, which, of course, she kept a record of. And then one time he was over at her house in a city that literally is, I think it's like 14, 16 hours drive away from us. Like, it's a very far away. So you would think, well, then how did he get to sleep with her, right? Well, her parents live close to us. And also he had been working in that city for a couple weeks, staying there exclusively. So, and at that time, that's how she got my phone numbers. One time when I called her or texted, my phone number came up and she took note of it and wrote it down in case of emergency later, right? So now when he called her and said, listen, right before he had come to pick me up, actually, from school, or from the go bus for school. And like, basically said, listen, our relationship counseling is going really well. She's my everything. She's the future. I'm cutting things off with us once and for all. Like I'm going to be faithful to her. That's it. Like I got this. I'm sorry, right? And so she waited an appropriate amount of time because she knew how long it took him approximately to drive to come pick me up. Remember, she's a very smart woman. And both I sat down in his car. I was in his car for not even 10 minutes when she called me to tell me of all of his transgressions, right? Now, at first, I mean, I let her talk for hours, Char. I let her come in painful detail.
Okay.
And I knew it was her. She didn't reveal her name, but I just kept saying, like, hey, I know it's you. There's no one else this could be. So given that, just let's keep going. And I even spoke to her on Messenger after the fact. I stayed in contact with this woman for a good while. And I was devastated. Like after he came, the next day we sat down, like he like had it all out. He told me everything. He told me it was crazy because every time he had actually cheated, I knew, and he couldn't figure out how I knew with such accuracy. And whatever. And I said to him, I said, well, you know, we're broken up, don't you? And he said, yeah, okay. And so then it was like about trying to figure out how can I ever get past such a massive betrayal? And because I wanted to get past it, right? This love of my life. I don't, he wants to spend the rest of his life with me and vice versa. Like I want to get past it. I just, right now I can't. There has to be consequences. So I have to break up with you. But now how do we get to the place where we can get back together? Right. So it's like, okay, solo counseling for him and blah, blah, blah. But you know, I still need to see him every day. I'm still like, he's my best friend on the planet. So what do I do if I can't talk to my best friend? Like about my best friend devastating me or about my day or about anything, right? Like I couldn't fathom life without him. So what I did was I took all of that anger, and I displaced it. And who did I displace it onto? Why? The chick who called me to ruin my life, right? And so instead of it being his fault, it became her fault for ruining my life. And me and him came up with this whole entire vendetta about how we were going to get back at her. Now, I don't remember the end of the plan. I really don't. I do remember that the plan involved convincing her we hate each other, getting her to talk more. And we were playing her from two different ends, two different sides. And then we didn't know a lot about computers. She figured out that some email he sent was from my house, from the same email, IP address or whatever. And so at that point, she left. Yeah, she was smart with computers. It's what like she did for work. So we probably should have been more careful with that. But this was months ongoing, and this was like a scheme to try to ruin her life. Like this was not like a little scheme. Okay, if we had been able to, I would have demolished this chick, demolished her. Not her fault. All she did, sure, she did sleep with my man, but she didn't owe me nothing. All she did was tell me the truth. And I was willing to ruin her for it. Okay.
Handle the truth.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. And I love the truth. I'm telling you, I wanted to ruin her. So if that's me, little me and my honesty and blah, 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 I want to go ruin this chick over here. Now you imagine the average normal human being who's like, well, I like my truth, you know, with a spoonful of sugar, right? Like it's not going to work out for you. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what do you think about that, Vonda? Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, Char. Hey, Ruby. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Well, this is a very, very, very interesting topic, and I have my own opinion. Pretty much like yours, Char. My thing is, it all depends on the situation and the people involved. My first gut instinct is to mind my own damn business, because I have been in positions where I've been the bearer of bad news, and a lot of times, you know, the messenger get their throat slit, and
you don't say.
Ain't nobody got time for that. You know, she's mad at you, he's mad at you, the whole relationship is estranged, it's all messy. Now, my thing is that if you're dealing, you know, with a man that is a cheater, and let's say he's a serial cheater, and you saw this happening, what are the chances are that he's going to continue this behavior and eventually get caught? She did the right thing by asking her man. I mean, it appears that they're a couple, couple friendship type of thing. And so if it's her husband's friend and they're friends with the couple, oh, I'm staying the hell out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to my man and say, oh, I seen, Junior over there, with some chick and they was just tonguing it up. I mean, hey, mind your business. I'm gonna mind my business, because you know what? He knows that couple, he knows that situation. He has more of a friendship with them, apparently. I'm just gonna stay out of it. It's not like me and her been friends, since 5th grade, and that's my girl, that's my ride or die. I gotta let her know what her man is doing, because even in those situations, she gonna turn around and look at you side eye, crazy, and every which way above. Because the whole thing of the matter is that when you tell a woman that her man is cheating, she doesn't instantly fall out of love with him and bags are packed and, the financial things have all been taken care of and everything falls into place. It totally upheavals the entire set.
Yeah.
So women who are told, oh, he's cheating, they tend to not believe it when they're told that. And then they're looking at you like, oh, so you're just trying to hate on us. Why are you trying to hate on my relationship? You're jealous. Or the dude might be like, oh, I don't want that B around my house no more. I don't want her here. And it just becomes this whole ugly situation.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's none of my business, because you know what? She may even know that he's cheating. He's cheating on her, and she might be okay with it. So let me just stand back and just mind my business. Okay. Now, at the same token, if it were my man that my friend, not my husband's best friend's wife saw, I mean, that's a totally different relationship. But if my friend saw my man doing something out of pocket, she's going to let me know. But in the same situation, I wouldn't really expect this woman to come and say anything to me. I just wouldn't. If she saw it, I wouldn't expect her to come say anything to me. And like I said before, if my man is out there getting it in with, every, chick he's coming across, or he's getting it in more often than not, eventually I'm going to find out, or who knows, I may already know.
Yeah, I agree. Ruby said the same thing. I have yet, keep on living. I have yet to see where you win.
Right. I have one friend I would tell. One. I mean, this is my direct friend that I would directly tell. So that I would, no matter what I saw, whether it's friend, family, whoever, I would tell her, okay, listen, this is what happened. Right. And, there was an iffy situation she was put into at one point, not exactly this, but still something iffy and tied to my family. She didn't want to tell me, and she didn't tell me for years. She didn't tell me for a very long time. And it was impacting our friendship, was impacting our whole lives. And, one day I was like calling her out, like, dude, what is going on here? And for her to finally tell me, and it was like prying teeth. She didn't want to tell me, for the same kind of reason, though. She kind of thought she would be blamed, or she'd be called a liar. She'd be called this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, it was really, really hard on her. And, that was even given the fact that we tell each other everything. It was still a situation like that. And she's one person I would tell, right? And vice versa. But even that took, 20 years of friendship to get to the place where you're like, everyone else, I might want to tell you, I guess, but, I might feel a little bit bad at some point, like, ooh, you poor thing. But I'm not stepping into your relationship. And the thing is, now you could think to yourself, right? Because I believe towards the end of the letter, it said something along the lines of like that relationship was kind of looking to end somehow anyway.
Yes.
You don't want to be the linchpin to someone else's relationship ending. You do not want to be that person. You don't. Because nobody on either side of this is going to forgive you. That's what it comes down to. Because even though the relationship was coming to its natural end on its own, if you didn't open your big fat mouth, maybe we could have saved it, right? If you didn't open your big fat mouth, maybe the divorce settlement would have been different. If you didn't open your big fat mouth, right? You know what I mean? Like, and that's what ends up happening. Again, you'll still get blamed in a way, even if they take your advice or take it onto heart, believe you. There's still repercussions to that, and it's going to ultimately, what I see it as being, is going to blow apart that best friendship that your spouse has with his best friend. And the last thing you want is for your spouse to lose like brotherhood like that, because that's the person who is supporting him through his relationship. And you might see that a little sketchy, but no, like it comes down to, men need that. They need an outlet with someone that they trust, and someone who likes you too, and whatever. If you take that away from them, now your spouse is going to be bitter and mad at you too, right? Even if they try to hold it in.
But see,
they'd have their best friend if it wasn't for you.
I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair, because my thing is that, she did the right thing by asking her man, like, oh, what do you think? And he said, shut up, mind your business. Now, if she took it upon herself, well, you know what? I just don't believe in cheating. I don't believe in holding things back. I'm going to go tell her. And then she goes and tell her. And then all hell breaks loose and this whole big old thing starts. Then, okay, we're going to, that is, hey, he told her not to say anything. That's where she starts to breach her relationship with her man, because she asked him for a reason. If it was all that, she would have never said anything to her man. She would have just went and told homegirl, look, I saw, Junior over here doing this, that, and the third. But she asked her man first, because that's his friend. So I don't think, it has to do with their brotherhood, because at the end of the day, homeboy is doing wrong, but I think that there's a process, to certain things. It's not always, black and white. Oh, you did wrong, so now I have to tell. No, that's not always the case. There are these little nuances,
Right.
So,
you did actually agree with me right there. So I'm not sure how I said what I said. It clearly sounded differently than I meant it, but that's exactly what I said.
You were leaning more on the side that, you didn't want to break up the relationship between the two dudes. And I don't even think that was even like, a major thing with it. I think it was actually her relationship with her man.
Well, the thing is, if she had gone, this is the way, if she had gone, whether the husband had agreed to it or not, if she had gone to the woman and told her, okay, that would have eventually broken up that friendship. It would have broken up everything. That's what would have happened, because ultimately, when you have that kind of fallout, because you would have that kind of fallout, right? Then the boys are going to have an inevitable fallout. Why? Because now you're going to have his best friend pissed off at your wife, calling your wife all kinds of bitches and this and that and whatever. Well, you can't stand for that because that's your wife, but at the same time, this is your best friend and you understand why he's mad. So while you're going to sit there and defend your wife to him, and now you can't talk to him unless he's going to put some respect on his wife's name, now he's going to be mad at you, because if you had kept your mouth closed, then he'd still have his friend. Do you see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is exactly, which is what we're all basically saying, which is mind your own business, especially if he told you so. But I'm going to say, as a woman in this case, right, or as a spouse, like, let's say if the tables were turned, right? And so let's say now it's the two women who are friends, right? And it's the husbands on the outside. I'm going to say the same thing. It comes down to mind your business, men. You know what I mean? It's not your business for you to step into. I don't think men have to be reminded of that as much. But I think that, if you say, oh, well, there's a bro code that I've got to maintain, right? Just like, there's a girl code I got to maintain. So I got to warn her though, because it's unfair and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're thinking very, very short-sighted, instead of looking at all the ways this is going to blow up, not just their life, not just, oh, well, she deserves to be protected and he deserves to get in trouble and whatever, but you're not seeing how this is going to impact your spouse and how it's going to impact you too. You know what I mean?
It will. Because if just look at the whole picture, okay, she goes ahead and tell the woman. Okay. And then she says, well, thank you. I appreciate Appreciate that you told me. Now she's gonna tell her husband, yeah, you were caught cheating. So my girl, she seen you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about. What you talking about, girl? I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. Well, she said she seen you and she wouldn't lie. She would tell me the truth that you. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, and she ain't touched me or nothing. So hey, she might have seen somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's thinking about his buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, your wife, what's up with her?
She all in my business.
She gonna come over here and tell my wife this, that, and I ain't even see her. And if she saying me, she ain't say nothing. And what's that all about? Oh man, I don't know. No, you know, I'm sorry, man. I ain't know. Yeah, you need to check your wife. Well, hold up now. Don't be talking to me like that. And then that escalates. And now both couples are really, hating on each other, with their problems. Then they're straining on the relationship that had no problem. And then the relationship that they probably already had problems, according to the guy, they got more problems. It's just a big old mess. So that's why I was saying, no, mind your business. Um, Also, I always mention that as women, we know. We just know. We may ignore it, but
Mm-hmm.
we know it's just something that we were born with. We know. Oh, wait a minute. He turned to the left too swiftly. He up to something. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
the sign is, we do actually know. We do have that intuition. We just,
Mm-hmm.
ignore it a lot of times. So that woman has to just deal with whatever that is. Now, once she gets a little notion, it's up to her to deal with that. She's going to investigate, try to work it out, whatever. That's on her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Well,
in
and I
the
think
same token, oh, go ahead, Ruby.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say in the same token, now she comes to her man and she, tells him of her discovery. That should make her think that, okay, so if Letitia saw you doing the same thing and she went and told Junior that she saw you doing the same thing, then y'all not gonna tell me neither. So what goes around comes around, and that's just what it is. So being the person who's holding that information, you have to be willing to know that, hey, it can turn around on you too.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that the same protection, quote unquote, that's being offered to Junior, Tyrone gonna get the same protection too if Letitia see him acting out of pocket.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know that. See, I was a listen. I was a very skilled inquisitor. Okay, I was about that life. I already know you can't answer me. I know you can't. I know you cannot tell me the truth about what I'm asking you. But I already know you. I will spend my energy and effort learning everyone's mannerisms, not just my man's, but all of
Mhm.
his friends, all of his friends' girls, all of the, bar staff. I learn everyone's mannerisms. Okay. So yes or no questions. Especially if I get to see them tell a lie and I know for sure that they're lying about it, but I'm in on the truth. I'm one of the people in on the truth, one of those things. And
Uh-huh.
I'll watch people. So now all I got to do is ask you the question. You don't have to tell me the truth. You don't even have to answer. The way that you move will tell me everything I need to know. That's all I need. All
Right.
I needed was some confirmation that I'm not crazy, right? But see, now a lot of people, they need to hear the words, and I know that, like, some people, they really need to hear the words and whatever. I need something to confirm that it's not just in my head. It's not some paranoia. It's not some, whatever. It's not because I'm scared of my past happening again. I do need some form of confirmation from some outside source, but I don't
Mhm.
need a rat. I don't need a snitch. I don't. In
Mhm.
fact, I've noticed that people who snitch too quickly, especially if it's people of the opposite sex, could be outright lying through their teeth. because they are trying to basically be like, girl, here, good for you, but you know who's good for you? Girl, I'm good for you, right? Like,
Right.
I'll never forget this dude. One time I was trying to figure out if my boyfriend at the time was, cheating on me, whatever. And, so I called one of his boys. His boy said he's not with me. He was with this person last time I saw him. So then I called that person. That person said, okay, I left him at this person's house. So then I called that person, right? That person didn't answer the phone, but texted me back. So then I texted and said, what's up? Da, 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 right? Told him my whole story. I'm looking for my man. I know he was with you. So where is he now? Right? And then this literally led to a text messaging session because this man all out disappeared. He disappeared for a good, he disappeared. I was looking for him at 4:00 in the morning because his mom was looking for him. Actually, it wasn't even me. His mom was looking for him. He didn't come home. So I was like, okay, he's not here. So I don't know. I don't know where he is to tell you, but I'll look for him. So I went looking for him. And no one heard from him until about 6:30 p.m. the next day. And so I was like, yeah, right?
Sound like somebody's laid up in a hotel with a woman.
If only the answer was that good. It was worse. But anyway, the point is that I know. But the whole thing was, I remember this Ruby's got stories for days, but that would be me digressing. So point is, this guy texted me. He was texting me back and forth for hours. He texted me until about 10:00 in the morning. That's when I finally fell asleep. Then he was texting me again already at 1:00 in the afternoon. Texting me. He actually kept texting me clear until the next night. And the only reason why he stopped is because my boyfriend called him to be like, yeah, so heard you've been texting my girl. Because not only was he texting me, right? He was texting me things like, yo, I don't want to be the one to tell you, because I ain't no snitch, but if you knew the things I knew, you wouldn't want to be with him no more. Okay, so then why don't you tell me? Well, okay, I would, but I'm gonna have to do that in person. Why don't you agree to have dinner with me? And you get dressed up. I'll let you feel like a woman again, and I'll tell you what your man been doing, baby girl. Like that bullshit, right? And you're the kind of woman I could fall in love with on the first day. I might already be in love with you, girl. Like just stuff like that. All day. And the only reason why I'm tolerating it is because some part of me is like, well, he might actually know something though, right? So if I just tolerate the nonsense, right, then maybe he'll tell me something. Because right now we still don't know where this man is, right? So I need to know now. Did someone kill him? And what is going on here, right? So I'm freaking out a little bit. So I'm trying to be like, LOL. Well, maybe if you gave me some information though, in for a penny, in for a pound, at least I would know that you have something to tell. Well, he's not the man you think he is. No, see, that doesn't tell me anything. That could mean anything, right? But I mean, that's the whole point though, right? Now, come to find out, this man didn't know nothing about nothing, right? But I gave him an opening, and so he took his shot. That's what it was. So it's like, you can't always trust these little grimy friends anyway. They might be pretending they want to give you information when they really are up to no good. So
very true. I mean, like you said, when you're dealing with somebody from the opposite sex, a dude coming to tell you about your man, and you're like, okay, and you want to tell me over dinner? No,
right?
Or some chick trying to tell your man something about you, and she wants to do it, come over to the house when you're not there. It's like red flag. Red
flag when they want to do it in person. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, no, you can just tell me now, because I mean, yeah, just go on and let me know.
Right.
And what kills it is that, your curiosity, because guess what? You want to know. Somebody comes and tells you they have some info, some 411 about your significant other. You're like, what?
Right.
And you start running through your head like, well, I wonder what could it be? What? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Now,
I just be wondering.
I'm gonna throw a little
Mhm.
monkey wrench in. I'm gonna throw a little monkey wrench into the mix.
Ooh,
Now,
okay.
like I said before, there would be those certain instances where I just feel like somebody has got to say something, an anonymous letter or something, because she needs to know this. I don't care what you say, she has to know this. Now, if the wife had seen him kissing and all hugged up on a ladyboy,
Okay.
and not just some random chick, that you don't know, or the town whore, the town slut. Everybody's had a turn. She's like a doorknob,
Mm.
that type of person. Be like, wait a minute. And I heard she has this and that disease. I mean, so, when you have more information like that, or if it's something, really egregious, I mean, do you hold on to that, or do you mind your own business, or do you be like, oh my God, I wish I hadn't seen that, and yet you fight with yourself over it? I mean,
That's
Mind your own business even more. Even more. You think that your head's gonna get chopped off over you delivering news of, well, she seemed like a nice girl, clean cut, not too scandalous, whatever. You think that your head got cut off over that? Incriminate someone's husband of being with someone who's trans, or with another man or something like that. They will demolish your house. They will burn down your house with you inside of it, trapped. Are you kidding?
That's probably true. That's probably
Yeah,
true.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
dare you
wouldn't
try
be
to make my husband look like he gay? How dare you try to cover his sexuality? What kind of woman are you? Like,
Hopefully I
you
can
can't
unsee
win.
what I saw. I wouldn't want no parts of it. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, that's even worse. But it's like, oh, no, this is way too much. I don't want any parts of it. I don't want any parts of it. I really don't.
Mhm.
I don't.
I remember being in church some years ago, and this woman, she was, I don't know, I think she was a pastor, and her husband was too. And I remember her saying that her husband was in the mirror more than she was. So again, all the signs were there, and
Mhm.
that ended up being just what it was. He, was into men.
Mhm.
So again, I say there's some type of intuition, there's something there, some type of sign. We just ignore it instead of questioning it and asking, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. I don't know if I should proceed with caution. Because he was a nice looking guy. And you got to think sometime when you meet somebody, because we're all in different, we all experience different things different days. That's why the same scam can be running for decades and they keep catching people and getting money, because one day you're going to catch that person that's off guard.
There's always a fool. There's always a fool on deck. There's
Mhm.
always one. Always a sucker on the
Mhm.
line. There's always,
And you always scratch your head when you hear these cases where a woman will send money to someone online that she haven't met. And you keep saying, well, why? Why would this happen? Because whatever's going on. But that person, if they would just stop and just accept the sign that they see, those things would not have happened. They went, they just ignored it. So let's say the woman ignored the signs about her husband and said, you know, um, I really want him, love him, need him. I want to have his children because they're going to look like this and we're going to buy this house or whatever she got going
Mhm.
on, her plans. And she just decide, I'm going to keep ignoring this sign, that sign. And the next thing you know, it's a decade gone past.
Yeah. Like Charity from Greenleaf. I mean, I loved that they put that into this Greenleaf show in the first couple seasons. Because it goes to show you, it's like this girl who she's never the chosen one. You know what I mean? She's not the chosen one in her family. She's not the chosen one with men. You know what I mean? She's got the older, prettier, light-skinned sister, and she's the short, dumpy, dark-skinned sister. And so, she's even, and then when it comes to her parents' love and respect, it's like they'll let her be an associate pastor, but for Charity, she's just good enough to sing, but her, she got a husband who loves her. You know what I mean? And when Grace, her older sister's relationship falls apart, it's like, you're just jealous because my man still loves me, right? All the signs are there, even though he gets caught in an outright gay thing. Even when he says, "Hey, I'm gay," to her directly, "I'm gay, Charity, I'm gay,"
And she
right?
says no. No,
She
you're
does
not.
say no. No, you're not.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the story, but I mean, the show, but I kind of figured that's what she said. No, you're
Yeah.
not.
No,
Because
you're
she
not.
already set up what she wants, her desires, her plans for the future.
Yeah.
And we do that as women. We have our little fantasies going.
Hmm.
It is what it is. You got some women that just once they get to a certain age, they just like, no more fantasies. This ain't gonna work. Stop it.
And
Right.
when you're dealing with a woman who is in quote unquote her truth, you can't bring her enough truth to make her come out of that.
Really?
You unless it's pictures and a video, and that might not even do it.
Oh boy.
That might not even do it.
Oh boy.
Because she is stuck on no, this is, well, that was just a fluke. It might have been one time. I'm willing to overlook it because I don't want my whole fairy tale of what my life is to me shattered.
Right.
I don't want it shattered.
Well, it reminds me though. I mean, there are some cases where I do feel bad for the woman because, like, there are some guys who are not. It's not just that they're lying. It's that they're so far in denial that, like, for them, you're crazy for thinking they're gay, even though everything about them is very gay. So, and especially in younger adults, and teens. And I remember, so we'll give them some pseudonyms: Mac and Joy. Right, Mac and Joy have been together since like 7th or 8th grade. And I first met Mac and Joy now when they're a year older than me, so it's like the 10th grade. So they've been together now for like 4 years. And if you look at them, if you were to look at them and not listen to them or talk to them, they looked in love. They were really cute, actually. They would sit at the bus stop together and like lean on each other and just do cute things with each other. It was so sweet. They're so sweet. And and then eventually Joy lost her virginity. Well, they lost their virginity to each other though. And it was so sweet. And then he just, they were going at it like rabbits, according to Joy, and whatever. Now, if you ask Mac, I mean, because the thing is, I remember I met Mac through like the vocal R&B group that we were all in. And, at the time, he's like, yeah, me and my girlfriend. I'm like, you have a girlfriend? And he's like, yeah, we've been together for like 4 years. Now, the reason why I said it so shockingly, it's not because of the clothes he was wearing or whatever. It's because the way he would speak is something like this. Oh yeah, like, so like me and my girlfriend Joy, like we were like going to the thing, right? And then like it was so good at the movie. That's how he spoke, like all the time, the hands and everything. And he was very soft spoken. So I was like, oh, really? So you're straight? Are you like bi though? Like, are you bi? Are you okay? You sure you're not bi? Oh no, you're saying you're straight. And it wasn't until Mac and Joy broke up in their OAC year, so it's grade 13 year, that Mac finally came to his senses at that time.
Came to his truth, huh?
Came to his truth and said, I'm gay. Really? Shock of all shocks. You gay? No way. Right? But the only people who couldn't see how gay Mac was were Mac and Joy. They were the only two people. Joy would have, and I think they both would have passed the polygraph, especially Joy, right? She was convinced her man, all the signs were there that he was a straight, red-blooded male. He was like to be all up on her, liked all of her, special parts and whatnot. And he said it. I remember talking to him about that. He said, yeah, he was in love with her. He was in love with her as a human being, as a person. He was in love with her. And so because he was in love with her, it's very easy for him to be attracted to her, and want to spend all his time with her and touch her up and all that stuff, right? But, he had to be honest that, once that relationship kind of ended and now he was back out on the market, what he felt for women was not the same thing as he felt for men. And he realized once he was single, and so he allowed himself to be out there looking, that, you know, he had never felt for joy the way he was now feeling when looking at this guy he's crushing on or whatever. He never felt that thing. So he loved joy, but not in the way probably she would have thought was acceptable love if she had really understood. You know what I mean? So I mean, this part of those issues that come in, right, where it's like, hey, listen, this dude could be so far in denial that he is entirely even unaware. And you know what? This behavior only comes out when he's so drunk that he can't even remember his own name. Now you're gonna sit there and you're gonna call him out. Boy, good luck outing that man. Good luck outing that man. Good luck. Good luck. That's all I have to say. Good luck. You think you're saving that woman. You are not saving that woman, because she's going to dig her heels in. And you know what's going to happen though? Once she digs her heels in, even when she gets put into the position that Charity was in, where he finally comes to his own senses 5-6 years later and is like, okay, yeah, I have been doing all that and whatever. Or maybe he gives her HIV or maybe whatever, who knows? At that point, she doesn't have an out, because she was already warned, blah, blah, blah. She didn't listen. She didn't pay attention. And so she's going to feel like, well, this was my karma. So now I'm stuck here. Or now I've already had my 5 children with this guy. Or now already, you know what I mean? And so sometimes the best thing you can do for a relationship, it might feel hard or cold at the time, but sometimes the best thing you can do for a relationship is let it play out its, you know, its own natural course, and talk to the offender. So if you saw someone do something inappropriate, talk to that person directly. Don't go and tell significant, go talk to that person. Just let them know you saw them. Let them know what's up. You know what I mean? You could let them, you know what I mean? Maybe even be there as someone to talk to. So that way, you know, you could convince them to do the right thing themselves. But otherwise, there's nothing you can do that's going to step in again, that's going to make anything better for anyone, short term or like long term, honestly.
Yeah. And go ahead, Vonda.
No, I was just going to say, like, in a situation, like, I have a friend, you know, I mean, she's my best friend, and she is the type of person that, you know, when she knows something, she's going to tell me, whether I want to know it or not. She just tells me stuff that I need to know. And she has been the bearer of some pretty bad news to me, you know, but that one thing that I never got mad at her about it. The one thing that I always could count on is that, you know, if something did go down and she got wind of it, oh, that's a catch-all right there. I'm going to find out. I'm going to know. She's going to tell me. But at the same time, it got to a point, I went through a time in my life where I didn't want to hear any bad news. So when she would call and she said, girl, we need to talk, I would avoid her calls. I'm like, I have no idea what she's going to tell me or what she's about to say to me. Because if it's some bad news and it has to do with me, I don't want to hear it. Not today. I just can't hear it today. So, I mean, it can work for you in 2 different types of ways. Like I say, I appreciated her honesty and being able to tell me these things, because these are things that, you know what, I was better off knowing than not knowing.
Okay.
But when I got to a point in my life where I just don't want to hear any truth, I avoided talking to her, because the real was too much, and I just wasn't emotionally prepared for it, and I didn't want to hear it. You know,
oh yeah,
not somebody who's really close to me, you know, not in this situation where they're a little further removed, but someone who's really close to you, you know, telling you.
Oh yeah. You know what? My best friend on the whole planet blew up our whole entire friendship. Blew it up for years. For years we didn't speak over what she did, but she did it on purpose to push me away, because she knew I was the only person on the planet who would hold her accountable, who wouldn't let her just self-destruct if that's what she felt like doing, which currently is what she felt like doing. You know, she didn't want to be near the truth. She didn't want to be near the love. She didn't want to be near the care. And she knew I would never, ever stop. So the only thing she could do was blow up our relationship in such a way that not only did it temporarily make me angry enough to not only feel it, but to tell people about it, because I'm very secretive when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I'll just hold it myself and then, you know, deal with it one-on-one, and then that's it. but then it make it egregious enough that other people will prevent me from forgiving her too early, I guess, or too easily. Because, you know, my best friend calls me now and her heart is broken or something terrible has happened. She needs me to save her. I'm going to go save her. I actually literally tried to a few months after this happened, maybe 4 months after this happened. And, you know, she was staying with her father, not a great person, not someone she had lived with her entire, you know, time in Canada almost. You know, she got here when she was like 8 or 9 or something like that. And at this point we were 19. And you know, he didn't pay the rent, and she found out suddenly she was going to be evicted, but she only found out by going through his stuff. She had 3 more days and she didn't know what to do. And so I was going to save her. I had money, I could go save her. And my boyfriend found out, the horrible cheater one, found out what I was going to do, try to convince me. And then between him and my mom took my car keys, he took my bank card. So now there was nothing I could do. This is back before you could just e-transfer some money and be done with it.
Wow.
To prevent, and I called her sobbing because I wanted to help her and they wouldn't let me. And for 3 days, they kept my stuff. They did not give it back. That was too bad. You don't get it because we know you'll go and save her and you can't. You know, you got to let her live with this. You know what I mean? And it was like one of the hardest things I've ever done, even though like it was almost done to me. But at the same time, it was something that she also had to go through because this is what she asked for. This is what she wanted. And, you know, she had to go through that period of self-destruct. But when she was ready, she came back. She would call me. I remember she would call me throughout the years when she really needed someone to trust and to talk to for like one night. She would call me. We would talk for that one night, and then that was it. We might not talk again for years. And when she was done with her self-destruct and she was ready to have a life and she was ready to rebuild herself and whatever, and, you know, she had worked through her stuff and she was, you know, now on the right path again, she called me. She came and she saw me. And, you know, from then she came and she saw me very regularly. We started talking all the time. We rebuilt our friendship again. You know, and she explained all of that to me. So, you know, it makes such a good point. You know, it's almost like the point that you made, the point that I just made, Vonda, you know, we're basically saying the same thing. That kind of truth is something so raw and so real that it takes a special kind of relationship for you to really hear it and take it in.
You're
right?
absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I agree.
And even given that, you have to be in a special kind of place to be able to take it. Even given all that, you still have to be in a special kind of place to take it, because if you're not in the right frame of mind, if you're not in the right place, you might not be able to handle it, you know? And so even with those best friendships and whatever, I mean, will it completely blow up? We don't know, but could it strain your friendship possibly forever if you're telling your best friend something and they're not in the right place mentally, emotionally for them to really, really hear you? And for them to take in that truth as it stands, you know, especially if they don't see it coming, blah, 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 maybe not, you know, and that's the thing we got to recognize. It's like, why are you telling? Are you telling just so you can get the guilt off your own shoulders and, well, I don't care what the repercussions are as long as I don't have to hold the secret? Or are you actually telling to help? Because then you got to look at, well, if your ultimate goal is to help, what would actually be the best case scenario? What will be the best help in this case? And sometimes it really is for you to shut your mouth and say nothing.
Most time. Welcome, Miss Regina, to the panel. How are you?
Hey, Miss Regina.
Hey, ladies. Oh my
Miss
God. Hey,
Regina.
How are you?
I am doing well. How are you, ladies? Y'all bringing it in this evening. I hear you. Go ahead, sister.
Well, better now, always better now when you're here, Regina. I mean, the other ladies are great and everything. Yeah, they're great. But Regina's here, guys.
Wow.
Did you see?
Oh, y'all stop. Wow. Okay, so can I give my response now?
Go right
Yes,
on ahead.
ma'am.
While I'm cooking?
Go right on.
I'm telling. I couldn't give a darn. I'm telling. Lose a friendship, I don't care. I'm telling. You bye. Okay, you ain't gonna listen to me. Bye. Cause I'm
Miss
not gonna.
Regina. Miss Regina.
No. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. As a friend, I don't want to see you hurt like that. I don't want to see you in that situation. I don't want to see you go out like that. I don't care if you knew about it. You girl, I know. And so, okay, well, you down like that? That's cool. That's all right. But I'm telling it all. I don't care. I'm crying to the wolves. And then when they don't listen, I'm telling everybody else. I don't care. I'm telling it. Now, here's the only thing that I agree with y'all. If it's someone that I haven't been, but if it's my girl, I'm telling. But if it's somebody that's kind of extended, like somebody, my the man that I'm seeing or dating, his friend's lady or something like that, then no, I will step back on that, because I don't know what they got going on. But my girl, and I know that you are supposed to be in a committed relationship, and my friend really believes that y'all are solid, that this is a solid relationship toward marriage, in marriage, thinking about it, even just effing. I'm telling, that's me. I can't hold crying eye water. I'm not the person that you can tell. I'm just not that person that I can see something and hold that back.
All
And
right.
that's okay. Now don't ahead.
What did I tell you? See, Char, that's what I expected from everybody. I expected Vonda. I expected everyone to be like, Ruby, you're evil.
That's exactly where I was with it. Like with my close friend, yeah, we have that closeness, that bond, and we don't keep that type of stuff. But like with the friend once removed, my husband's, best friend.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story. I'm not about to get in the middle of that.
Now, you know something, Vonda? Now, even if she came to me and said, girl, we sitting up, we at a dinner party or whatever, and she may say something like, girl, and these women over here trying to tell me that Keith was out with such and such. Oh, so you know about that. Oh, okay. I'm telling y'all, I'm telling. I'm telling you.
She said, I'm a
I'm gonna knock them down. You set it up, I'm gonna knock them down.
Doing. Okay.
Yeah. Not only did I hear it, I saw it. I'm telling y'all. I'm just telling. I'm telling you.
No, see, I put people on a timeline. Because here's my thing, right? So I can't so even when I had a close friend whose husband directly told me, I didn't see it. He told me he cheated on his wife. And I was like, you need to tell her. And he said he didn't want to be with her anymore. I said, you need to tell her. Which part should I tell her? Both things. You can't tell her not what. Listen, at the end of the day, this chick might decide to have some goodbye sex with you, some makeup sex with you, something. She needs to know, because she's pregnant with your baby, that you slept with someone else. She has to know that. But now with that being said, though, you're saying you don't want to be with her anymore. And yes, she's pregnant with your baby. But if you really don't want to be with her, you have to talk to her. You can't tell me, well, I can't do anything for you, right? You need to tell her that's how you're feeling. Right? Doesn't mean you have to leave her, abandon her, whatever. No, but you got to tell her, because if you are married to her, you've been feeling more and more problems in this relationship. You're just become more and more unhappy as the years have gone on. I know, because I will call, and on occasion she wasn't there. She was living in the Dominican Republic. So, our schedules were different. It's kind of like, I don't know if she's home or not or whatever. And so, I call, and sometimes he'd be like, hey, I want to talk to you because I need to talk to someone who loves her and won't judge her. But, I can trust. Okay, cool. And so then he would tell me things, and it was just really a difference in culture. It's what it came down to. She was a spoiled white Canadian girl, you know what I mean? And he was a hardworking, never been handed a damn thing in his life, Black Dominican man, right? They were from worlds apart, and he couldn't fathom some of the life choices she made on a daily basis, whatever, and it was making him look down on her. And he didn't want to look down on her because he loved her, but he just couldn't respect her either, because it was shaking him. So it's almost like he wanted someone to explain, make this make sense to him, so that way he could not hate her, basically. But this just got worse and worse and worse because I kept telling him, you need to talk to her. You know what I mean? And I do this thing where I low key give people advice based on information I've been given. I'm not going to tell. If you've told me something in confidence, I'm not going to tell on you. But at the same time, I'm going to give advice that very clearly reflects what I've been told.
Yeah,
Which is what I did.
Yeah.
Right now, she ignored me.
The cat, the dog, the pig, everybody got the bag now. If I know, you got everybody knows. I'm sorry.
See, but you know what? The reason why I don't do that. The reason why I don't do that is this, Regina. See, now you care. You're like, I don't care if the friendship's lost and this and that and whatever. But see, I care about.
Because there wasn't a friendship. If you don't trust what I have to share with you, something that could possibly hurt you in the long run, if you don't trust me with that level of information, that was not a friendship.
That's absolutely not true. But because it has nothing to do. It doesn't have anything to do with you and how much I trust you, right? Because at the end of the day, a friend is a friend. That's not a lifelong partnership. That's not a day in, day out. Every day we live together and we're building a whole family and a legacy and whatever together. They're two very different things. And so they're being controlled by two different things in your brain. And so the thing is, it's not about how much I trust you or not. It's about how much am I willing to accept the information, subconsciously knowing if I accept that information, what I would need to do with it. Because here's the thing, right? If I accept that information, right, now I'm put into a position where either I leave you or I stay. Now, am I the kind of person who can afford to leave you right now? Maybe I can't. And am I the kind of person who could live with myself and respect myself staying, believing this? No, maybe I can't. So then I have no choice but to reject that information right now. I have no choice because I literally can't live with holding on to that information. It's going to destroy me as a person. And that's where, see, what I look at is now, okay, listen, to me, it's about helping people, yes, but it's about outcomes. And so I think always that the best possible outcome is to get somebody to tell on themselves. That is the best possible outcome. This person needs to tell their spouse, give them that love and respect of coming to them directly and telling them this information. Don't make it come from a third party. Don't make someone learn from the street something that you should have told them. You tell them directly. I think that goes a long way towards helping someone. And that's what I did with my friend's husband. My whole entire goal in life. I sat there in 4 days from the day he told me on, let's say, Monday, right? And I told him, like, you need to tell her. And I just every single day, because she was like, she had to work during the day and I didn't. So she's like, oh, take him to see the sights. And the whole time it was a never ending conversation that was ultimately, you need to tell her. And so a week later, he told her, he sat down on the weekend. He waited till it was a weekend because, whatever. So she had time and then told her. Right. And she did all kinds of things wrong at that point. But the point is, and in fact, what did she do? She basically all but trapped him in that relationship for a very long time. And he really didn't have a choice. If he ever wanted to see his kid ever again, ever wanted to be in the country ever again, to see his kid ever again, he had no choice but to stay up under her. This is what she set up. And she was okay that he hated her. She was okay that he treated her horribly, as long as he didn't leave. Now, did I think she was going to do that? No, I didn't. But the point is, it had to come from him. Imagine what the fallout would have been had I told her. You think she would have accepted it? She thinks she would have taken it? No. In fact, the way that she now phrases this, we're no longer friends, is that I was always up in her business. I was always up in her relationship trying to ruin it. That's how she phrases it to other people. Right? So now, but what I wanted him to take hold of his own life. I wanted him to be open and honest. I didn't want them to bring a baby into this world with him being a coward and a liar, right? And her being unaware. And that was my push, right? Because that is the point. The point is, what is the best outcome? The best outcome is not that, well, as long as she finds out the information. No, she needed to accept that information. And I got to sit back and be the friend to her now. So instead of being someone she's battling against when she really needs a best friend, and driving her closer to him, because now the only person she can trust is him, because I've driven her away from me by being the person telling her. right? I'm now the friend who can be there to advise her, to be the shoulder to cry on, to be the person to listen and whatever. So it drives her towards me, someone who didn't just deceive her and betray her and break her heart. You see what I'm saying?
Now I have a question for you, Miss Regina.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
you
listening. I
tell
got
me,
you.
for you. Now
Yes.
you tell me that John, you seen John messing with Sally. That's what you told me.
Yep.
And I am just in shock. What?
What
Yeah,
what?
girl. You
Yeah.
told me
Okay.
that. I'm like, oh Lord, have mercy. Now,
Mm-hmm. Cry to
um,
Jesus.
I ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
say, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing because what can I say?
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that's telling me that you seen it. I didn't see it, but you're telling me.
Uh-huh.
I believe you though,
Okay.
because you're my friend. I believe you.
Okay.
So, so now I'm gonna, be at home. I'm be acting a little funny now, because now I got this information,
Mm-hmm.
processing it. I'm be acting all funny, and
Uh-huh.
he gonna be wondering what the heck is wrong with me, and now it's
Uh-huh.
gonna really push him away eventually, because now I don't want to give up the goodies. I'm acting a little hesitant,
Mm-hmm.
and
Uh-huh.
so now I'm gonna come and cry to you and say, I don't know what to do. What I'm gonna do, Miss Regina, because I didn't see him when he did it, but I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do, girl? What you gonna say to me? What's your counseling for me?
Girl, if you don't get the hell off my couch with this crazy, if you
Oh, what kind of
because
love is
okay.
that?
No, okay, so for real,
Right?
now y'all, I'm gonna be honest, and I wish I could call her in on this right now. This just happened on my patio this past weekend for
Okay,
Labor
do
Day.
share, do
This
share.
just this is fresh. This is fresh for me.
Okay,
It's a lot of history behind this couple. I'm not that young. So so my friend has history with this individual. And we're talking about a long history. We're
okay,
talking about a 21-year-old child that was conceived from this, okay, from this union. She's 21 now. She'll be 22 next month, actually. Okay. So we're
okay.
talking about a long time friendship, known since she was a baby. So
Uh-huh.
we're talking about 22 plus years. And even before that, before she even conceived with this, and I will not even give him the grace of calling him an individual any longer.
Oh boy. Okay.
Um, the way that she allows him back into her life, and I have been accepting, usually when I shut the door, it's because I've accepted so much in the past. It's not like, oh, oh, he did that. Okay. Maybe it's just a stink. Maybe it's just a funky end. He ain't working right now. So maybe it's some stuff. So I've put up with a lot in these past. Let's go ahead and round it off and say 25 years that
Okay.
I've known her. And we may even say 30 that I've known her, and knowing the person that she is and
Uh-huh.
how we communicate and how we're able to, talk about the situationships and the situations that we're in. We talk about just about everything, even if it's on the back end. Say, saying, girl,
Uh-huh.
I ain't gonna tell you, but I slept with James, and girl, that shit didn't work out. Even if it's on the back end, we talk
Uh-huh.
about it. So I know I have that level of relationship that we've talked. If I'm at that point to say, girl, get off my couch, I've listened before. You've been on my couch before. This is
Mm-hmm.
not the first go. This is not the first rodeo. You've been on this horse before, and you've been on this bull before, this serious bull, and it has bucked your ass before. So then, and so now you're still crying. Here we are, 20 plus years later, and you still bucking on this same bull. I can't do it. I just can't. My heart, I love, and that's what I had to share with her on this patio. I love you so much. I did not like the way I saw you that night when you said you went over to the house and the girl walked out.
Ooh.
He brought her here from Chicago or wherever she was, Tennessee or wherever. He brought her here. She's the mother of 3 of his kids. You only have 1.
Oh wow.
And you're gonna sit here and tell me that yes, I still let him come over. Yes, I still did. Yes, I still, girl, get off my couch. And then I tell you, and when I say it's real, it's for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
A friend tell me, sent me a text. Isn't this so and so? He all over this woman, and he was living with her at the time. I said, "Yep, it sure is."
Oh
And see,
wow.
I won't go without proof now. That's my other thing. I will not go without proof. So you won't get a hearsay. It's with proof. Either I've seen it or somebody else seen it and we have proof, or I can take you to it. So I'm not going to do it without proof. If I can't prove it, I won't do it. I forwarded the picture. I'm not going to I don't want you to be blindsided by this. Have you seen this? Do you know about this? And guess what? Just like Vonda said, I think it was Vonda. I'm not sure if it was
Yeah,
Ruby.
it was
She
Vonda,
knew.
I
She
think.
knew. See, so I can't
Mm.
get on this crying on my couch and all his woe with me. I don't know what to do. Because one thing I won't tell you is to leave him. We'll never,
Mm-hmm.
we'll never tell you to leave him. You have information. You have confirmation. You've experienced women showing up at your doorstep. You
Right.
have experienced your tires being slashed.
Oh
You've
wow.
experienced this. And so now you think I can't tell, I shut down. I can only do so much. And I had to tell her, I said, I'm that friend that cares. I love people. I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see, especially somebody that's close to me. But if you
Yeah.
keep diving in, you want to stick your toe in the water, you still want to continue to do that, you go right ahead, boo boo. We're going to talk about everything under the sun. We're going to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about our children. We're going to talk about their bad butt and what they doing now. These grown folks don't know how to manage life and all of this. But what we won't talk about is
Mhm.
that Negro.
Right.
Yeah.
I won't
That's
do
what
it.
we won't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what we won't do. That's what we
Yeah.
won't do. You're not gonna sit here and come to me crying every time. I've done that. I've been that friend.
Yeah.
And I got you. I got you when you need that support. But when it keeps going and keeps going, no, no, that's a choice now. That's a choice. I ain't no
Yeah.
therapist. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend therapy because I love it. I love therapy,
Mhm.
and I'm
Okay.
not a therapist, but I'm not gonna be it. No.
Well, I
So
know I
then, what
can't
do
go to
you
your
recommend?
couch then. Thank you.
Right? God damn. No, but what about if it's the first time, right? So this isn't the case, and I think
Yeah.
that, I feel like we've even talked about this just recently, with that kind of thing. And I told a story about a
Mhm.
friend that was like, oh, but all the time I've invested, and now she's 8 years later, which is more than the time that she had before when we talked about it, which was only 5 years. Now she's 13 years in, and the same thing's
Mm,
happening, right? And so you're
yes.
like, okay then.
Mhm.
But what if it's like the first time, right? So
That's my
what
yeah.
if
Yeah,
what if
first
this
year I
person?
was okay. I'm like, baby, look, he's transitioning from Chicago to Texas. He probably trying to get his feet wet a little bit. If you're gonna stick it out, if this what you want, if you really true and truly want your daughter's father in her life, if that's what you want, you may have to stick out and deal with some adjusting period. There's gonna be an adjustment time. He's used to bed hopping. That's what he does. 6 kids, seven kids, 7 kids. You know,
Mm,
yeah.
damn.
So yeah, he's used to that. So you may have to make some adjustments now, and that's cool. First year in, I was all there. If this is,
Mm,
I'm telling you, this is not the first rodeo. This
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
this incident just happened on my patio Monday night. And when I tell you, my friend sat there and said, I said, you know what? I apologize because when I say I'm your friend, I'm your friend. Don't want to see you hurt. Well, you probably just you what she say? You probably just need to relax a little bit because he's gonna be in my life. I said, okay, you know what?
Oh,
Heard, got you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm done. That's it. And I'm done. I said that I'm removing myself. No, Gina, don't say that. I said, no, I'm gonna need to say that because you've made a choice. Because I'm still gonna talk about him, even though I may not be seeing him, but I'm still gonna talk about him. Okay, you go right ahead, sweetie. Because if you're talking about him, 9 times out of 10, you're seeing him too, babe. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Huh?
He can't be that fresh on your mind.
You know, we
You
talking
know,
about
that fresh on
somebody
your brain. Girl, and Shantae did. Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh. Okay. Oh, sorry. Girl, son did this. Nope.
understandable. That is
Mm-hmm.
a bit much,
Oh
especially
I
yeah.
you
apologize,
said
but just
something the first time and it continues. Well, there's really nothing else, in my opinion, to keep saying.
Right.
exactly.
true.
If you're gonna tell, you don't need to tell one time. That's it.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That would be another reason to not tell. If you done already told her 3 or 4 times before,
Mm-hmm.
you see Tyrone with somebody, I that's none of my business. I don't care what Tyrone doing.
And that's what I'm saying, Miss Vonda. It only takes once.
Yeah,
And
it's like
I'm telling, because when I see that once, when I see it with my own eyes, yes, I'm telling. I'm telling. Everybody's gonna know. Do you know what this Negro did? You, you believe this? She brought him down here. She gave him clothes. She gave him a place to stay. She's allowed him back in her house. She's done this and helping him getting his credit back together, help him get a job, help him to get his health back on track. And what? You did what to my friend? And then she's still with him. Okay.
Well, at least
Mm-hmm.
she beat that 11-year streak so far. But yeah.
Mm.
Um, but there is people that have the information and they choose to use it the way they want. And
Mm-mm.
sometimes, if it's not against you, they just don't use the information at all. So,
And they
yeah,
don't use it. And I'm okay with that. But you
yeah.
ain't finna keep running and telling, crying to me. You're not finna do that.
yeah, I'm not
I
gonna
shut
keep
it
hearing about
down.
it. You,
I
we gonna
shut
we
it
gonna
down.
sing a different song today. A
Yep.
different song.
Yes, I have friends. I have 2 other friends that would laugh with each other. Yeah, we can't talk about so and so with Regina no more. No, you cannot. That will not be a conversation. Girl, we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about somebody, but we will not talk about him.
Mm. You know what? I'll say this too, because I think part of my thing comes down to readiness, right? Because like people can't get better until they're ready to get better. I mean, that's whether it's like a drug addiction, right? You could try to get healthy for all kinds of different people. You could even try to get healthy and pretend it's for yourself, but until you're actually ready, until you're really ready, you know, you can't get better. And that being said, though, unfortunately, normally readiness is like a finite period of time. It's not like, well, you got ready today and now for the next 3 months you're ready, you're good. As soon as that can start, you're good to go. Like, no, it's like a short period of time you'll be ready. By tomorrow morning, the sun comes back up and you're done being ready again. So, you know, I think that's part of the reason why it is that I have the approach that I have when it comes to friends specifically, except for my best friend. That's why I have the approach that I have. But my best friend is also very, very similar to me. And I already explained how what I did when I was given information and I was not in my fully grown, fully formed state yet. Where I'm at now, where openness and honesty mean more to me than everything else. My best friend is very much the way I am now. She also went through a bunch of growing stuff though too. We just talked about that. But for most people, the reason why I'm like that is, again, it has to do with readiness. And to me, I really, really don't like to waste my time or my energy. I really don't. So part of it is selfish too. I don't want to bother talking to someone if they're not really listening to me. I would rather just save it and think it to myself. I feel like it would be more productive that way than having to bother wasting my time, effort, and energy trying to talk to you when you are just literally, you're a brick wall and you're bouncing everything off. I would rather speak to you. I'm a person, I would rather speak to you when you're ready now, right? So I'm not the one, I think that, and that's why we have different kinds of people in this world. You're going to have that friend who's ready to tell you the second they see it, right? I'm not that friend. I'm the one. I might try to convince your man to come and tell you, but in general, we're not talking about it until you come to me and you tell me you're ready to talk about something. You are ready to talk about it now. And people already know me, though. They don't come to me unless they're looking for movement, right? I'm not the person you call when you want a shoulder to cry out. I don't know. In fact, when you try to cry on my shoulder, like, first of all, you're touching me, and I don't like when people touch me. Second of all, I don't know when people cry, it makes me really uncomfortable. Like I don't know what to do. Like, am I supposed to tap you, or should I get you tissue? Am I supposed to stare at you while you cry? Do I look away? Like, I don't know what to do. It makes me feel so uncomfortable when people cry, and I will act in the most like irrational ways.
Right?
Yes. My story of dysfunction is real and it's deep. But so as a result, since I don't know what to do, right? I'm not the person people come to when they want emotional solace, for the most part, because I'm not going to give it to you. I don't know how to give that to you. I know how to, like, if you're going to cry at me, that's cool. You can cry at me, but information better be coming out of your mouth. And then I'm going to respond to the information, not to the tears. So, people come to me for a different reason. So I think that's part of the reason why I approach things the way that I do too, is because if you come to me, then you're ready now for next steps. And I'm the one who's going to help you with next steps.
And it sounds like he was ready for his next step, and that was out the door. So that's what it sounds like. When he came to you, that's what it sounded like. He knew that you would provide movement, so he needed to be out the door. That's what he came to you for. So he was looking for his movement. And you know something, and I think that the blessing that I know that I have is that they can come and cry, but you're going to get some real shit when it come down to it. Now, we've been going through this. This ain't the first time. This ain't the second time. This is not the third time. This is not the fourth time. We've been going through this. And especially if it has lasted that long, you're going to get the real from me. I'm going to let you cry. We're going to cry together. I'm going to cry with you. Here's the tissue. We're going to do all that. We're going to get those emotions out. Now, let's address the situation. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I want to address it. Why do we keep going back? Why do we, what is it? And if it's good and it's hitting you right, I get it. But if you don't feel good when you get up, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think a lot of people, sometimes I think we give other humans too much credit. That is to say, I think that we treat everyone like they are equipped to deal with things that they might not be equipped to deal with because we're equipped to deal with them, right? And so whatever our life circumstances were, maybe because of, maybe in spite of, we are equipped to deal with things, or we have been equipped throughout our lives to work through and come to the other side of things that some people are honestly not equipped to deal with. And actually, I find, interestingly enough, it's two ways. It's either people who were especially disadvantaged and especially, what I will say, is privileged in comparison to their peers, right? So you don't have to necessarily be privileged, like you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But if, like, you had it easier than everybody you knew, everyone you went to school with and whatever, like, you were in the top 10%, right? You had an easier life comparatively. And you see that in comparison to everyone else. And I find that people who had an especially easy life and an especially hard life are normally not as equipped. And so they have a harder time with, especially like things that shift dramatically. Like, for some people, it's easy as punch. I gave you an ultimatum in this relationship: as if you cheat on me, I'm done with you. right? And so if you cheat on me, I am done with you. There's no in between. That's just what it is. But some people are not equipped to follow through on that because it involves them, suddenly veering left. And they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to throw away, not just the last few years, but 50 years of life planning. They don't know how to just throw that away. They don't know how to end that. They don't know how to turn off, the love. And then you say, well, you don't just turn off love overnight. And they go, I know, but how do you live without him then? Right? And they can't see past it,
Yeah, but those people are easily identifiable. They are because they are very straightforward people. I really respect and appreciate people who are like that. And I am not going to say the polar opposite of that, but I would call myself someone who is an honest comforter. I will comfort you, but I'm going to be very honest with you. If you want like the real, just straight up, you're going to get it very honest from me, but I may not say it, in, a harsh way. I might, be a little bit more comforting with my words, but they will be very real words and you'll get it. You'll definitely get it. And that's just my approach. But I have come across people who are very like cut and dry. And that is just really how my mom was, for the most part. My mom was a busy woman. She was raising kids. She was working. She was running a household. She was doing things. She was taking care of her husband. She was doing, I saw my mom do everything, so she didn't have time for the bullshit. And it wasn't her being mean. It was like, this is just how it is, and me, I kind of, wanted more of a, okay, where's a little softer edge to it? And there's 3 girls. I had a sister that was like, she couldn't hang. She couldn't handle that. That was not her way. She couldn't handle it. And I had another sister. She just totally like rebelled from it. And me, on the other hand, I would just take it in, but with like a grimace, like, okay, I got it, but that's just the way my mom was. So I'm used to that, and I appreciate that because then you don't have to wonder. You don't have to worry about being bullshitted because you know what? If I'm going to get it straight, I'm going to get it straight from this person. This person's going to always give it to me straight. And that's the type of person that I am. If you want it straight, like my sisters will say, oh, well, if you want it straight, you can ask Vonda. And to ask me only because they're not going to get it the way they got it from my mom, but you are going to get a straight answer. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, but I might say it in a way that's not so, cutting, with a butter knife and not a box cutter.
I feel like the box cutter might be a little bit more comforting. Like the butter knife, they're trying to cut you with that. That's a lot of sawing and drilling away.
With the butter knife, I'm just like poking at you,
Okay. I see what
that box cutter, you be sliced up and won't even know you sliced up until all the blood is rushing out of you.
Yeah, right? So if you got to draw blood, I'd rather it be with the box cutter than with the butter knife.
You know what I call that? Straight and no chaser. I'm very okay with that. But I mean, at the same time, I am, I sensitive, so it's like, but you got to find that balance for yourself so that you can survive. And that's what I've done over the years.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Regina was butter knife. Yeah, no. Okay. Keep on butter knife.
You gonna cry every time somebody's mad at you. You got to at some point grow out of that,
Because you do. It's the point where, like I said, over the course of years, and especially if it's year after year after year, we got to stop the butter knife. We're going to have to advance, for all the chefs in the building, we're going to have to move on. There has to be a paring knife. There has to be some, we graduate. I didn't start off box cutter. I didn't start off hatchet. It didn't get I didn't come out
Nurse Hatchet.
Yeah. I didn't come out all the way hatchet. Let me tell you this, I didn't come out that way. Initially, yes, I want my friends to have that opportunity to, okay, that happened. Let's move on. Let's go to the next subject. Let's move on. We want this relationship. We want it. Okay, let's move forward. But it was a graduating process to get to, okay, we at the cemetery and it's burying this. We're at the cemetery time now. It's no longer time after it's gone on for so long. Yes, I'm going to give you the time to grieve. Yes, I will deal with whatever what you have to. My heart is too giving and too loving because and everybody this is what she said, because when I said okay, when I did that on the patio Monday night, when I said okay, no, Regina, no, I said no, you've chosen, you've made the choice, and I'm good.
Yeah.
No, because when you get in that mode,
They already
that's
know.
it. You know, because it takes a lot for me to get there. That's what I'm saying. And it probably didn't even start out with a butter knife. I probably had a spoon. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me. I probably had a spoon in my hand. I'm not trying to hurt you initially. I'm not Dr. Phil. I don't think that level of shock therapy is for everybody. So yes, I get it. I'm going to take your emotions into account. I'm going to take your feelings. Yeah. Yes, you have a child, but that means something. We created something special. And I love that baby. So I don't want to see her parents hurt. But when it's consistent and you still go back every time, I can't. I can't be on board.
See, but my thing is this, right? And I mean, because there are, okay, the way I like to see it is there are wet people and there are why people. And then each one of those categories can be broken down further. And I'm a why person, right? So to me, what is a lot less important than why it is. And that's the thing, like whether it's me looking at my own life or people who come to me, that's what they're coming for. They're coming for Dr. Ruby, right? An analysis, Ruby, we want your analysis of this, right? And so I would give you my whole life story. You already know our whole life story. I'm going to add this new stuff in. Why did this happen? Right? And that's what people come to me for. Not what they should do about that, right? But why? Why did this happen? And that's the thing normally I look at, right? So like in the case of, for example, repetitive cheating. Well, you teach people how to treat you. You establish patterns in your relationship. You establish what's acceptable and not acceptable in your relationship. And all of those things that you established are going to continue forever. It's like an immovable object. So you established this in your relationship already. Of course it didn't change. Why would it have changed? Like that whole thing that's from The Best Man, where it's like, oh, he was when he was a basketball star, sure, he cheated all the time. But then one day he smartened up, and after 15 years together, that's it. He's a one-woman man now, and he's never going to cheat again, even though he's only in his 30s. And yeah, that doesn't happen, right? Like if he established with you that he can forever cheat on you and you are going to forever hold him down and forever forgive him and blah, 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 he's going to keep cheating until you leave. And I don't mean until you leave and then after he's hurt for a while, then if you take him back, then he's done cheating. No, if you take him back, he'll go back to cheating on you. You've established that dynamic in this relationship with this person. Short of them going to get some type of counseling and working on themselves and figuring out why this is acceptable to them as an individual, and then working on it independently to stop it independently, you've established this dynamic in your relationship. There's a lot of other dynamics y'all have established that go to supporting this dynamic of the you lie, you cheat, you I turn a blind eye until it gets to be too much, and then it blows up, and then we go back to homeostasis and it all starts again, right? And this is something that people don't seem to realize. Like, you teach people how to treat you. As unfortunate as that is, that means normally when we got into relationships, when we weren't at a great place, or we were young or something, we taught someone in that relationship to treat us in a way that we don't like now, but we've taught them that that's acceptable. Right? There's not a lot you can do to unteach that, unfortunately. That's what it comes down to. That's why it is literally like banging your head against a brick wall and expecting to get through to the other side. Like that's not how it works. It's just a very hard thing to accept, especially if, you put kids together, you've been building stuff together. Everyone knows you. You're all over the Facebook, blah, blah, blah. It's this whole thing. And you're like, I don't get it. It's like, well, they already had this dysfunction. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? You established that this dysfunction was acceptable for you. And there you go. He's going to continue because he has no reason to check himself. And you know what? Unfortunately, he will check himself now if he loses this woman that he cherishes and this family that he cherishes and loves, because I believe he does. Then that will make him check himself. He might be a better man for the next woman, but I just don't think that he's going to be able to be a better man for this woman because it's already been established he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
That's something we need to look at, is the patterns that we establish in these relationships, and as hurtful as it can be, and I mean, I see the same thing all the time, but you teach people how to treat you. Some things, like you teach someone that they can keep leaving the socks on the bedroom floor, and that's something, with some work and some time y'all can address, or maybe you could punish him into picking up the socks or something. But this is a bigger one, the lying, the cheating, the sneaking around, if you got, going back to the letter, if you're cheating so flagrantly to the point where you are actually caught publicly, where, a friend or family member was able to see you do it, you're not being that careful. If you're not being that careful, you've been doing this. This was not a one-off thing. It was not an accidental thing. Like, you don't care. You probably all bring your girlfriends around with you to like friends' parties and stuff.
Yes. That's the scary part. Yes. Like, and then what some books have said in the past, usually if they're that blatant, they want to get caught, because you at that point, if you're really taking her to maybe to her favorite restaurant, taking the other woman to your spouse's favorite restaurant, come on now. Mm-hmm. When you do stuff like that, it's almost like you want to get caught. Why would you expose yourself in that way?
It's just plain sloppy, and they've reached a point in the relationship where they don't care about the other person.
Don't care. That's right. And so in that instant, you need to go. You don't care anymore. You need to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if Regina got to tell it, I'm going to tell it. I just want to know. I need that to be heard again. Regina's going to tell it.
Miss Regina, can I ask you a question? Love. So let's get this clear. You're going to tell it.
I'm going to tell it.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
she is not playing.
I'm not playing with y'all. I see you out here doing wrong, and I'm just now looking at if you caught their spouse. See, that's a whole nother level than girlfriend, boyfriend, buddy. Buddy.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. That's a different level. Now, if I know y'all just, we hitting it every now and again, I get that. But if this is your spouse, and especially if I was in the wedding, I pay for that dress and them shoes and everything. And ate that old plain chicken with the string bean. No, I'm telling. I'm telling. 4 hours of pictures and I get 2. No, I'm telling. I'm telling. I'm telling you.
You got Regina too invested in that wedding. Sorry, brother.
Okay.
My hair did and walking around here with some makeup on. That is surely not me. I'm trying to be cute and smile and wave, smiling wave. What? Another picture? And then you gonna cheat on her? Oh no. I'm telling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling. We ain't talking about girlfriend, boyfriend, shack and stuff, because I would be a little bit probably more selective, but no. I'm telling.
Okay.
This is spouse.
This is the real deal.
This the real deal. You stood before Jesus and everybody else and said that you did. Not you do, you did. You did it.
Mm-hmm. Hey now,
You
and you
did
know
it.
what though? Some people are good. As much as it pains them. I mean, there are some people who were good. I mean, not good, but like good with their husbands' philandering ways for their
Yeah.
life. Like that's what their husband did in their youth, in middle age, right? It's only in their old age when they couldn't get around anymore that they started keeping it in their pants, mostly because they couldn't get it up. But
Right.
at that point, then that's when the long-term relationship, finally has its benefits, because then you guys are both old and alone, but you have each other, and then you get to
Exactly.
know each other, and blah blah blah. Some people
Yeah.
are willing to wait for that time.
Wow,
You
Yeah.
raise your kids
make that
together,
sound
and
so comforting. You make that sound
I know.
That's
so
all.
good.
Like, you gotta wait till he get his hoe out. You gotta wait. No.
Well,
Yeah.
that's after his little whole stick don't work no more.
And
Nobody
then
wants
it
to
don't
wait
work
that
no more.
long.
I don't want it.
Exactly.
I don't. Look, what
Nobody
was it in
wait that long.
Girls
Yeah, but
Trip?
girl, now
No.
he's willing. No, see, now he's willing to listen to what you have to say, not
It's
just
so
say
weird.
"aha,"
Yeah.
but
No.
engage, because he cares
No.
what you have to say, because it's
No.
not a ploy to get you in the bedroom, because
He
it don't
think
work no more. You see?
because he
So
didn't
he's
do nothing
listening.
else. And then who was it in Girls Trip? And she told her, "Yeah, you can go on and take that little community penis, because he didn't have it out in the community now.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's community penis, and y'all can have you." You want to take that on back? You go ahead. Take that community penis on back. Now it don't work. Now what y'all gonna do? Sit around and lick each other? Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
No, no, now you're going to talk and get to know each other.
Now
He's
you
going to
want to
find
get
out
to
that you are
know.
truly a fascinating, scintillating, brilliant, funny woman,
Yeah,
Yeah, he's going to know you for you, actually fall in love
yeah,
with you for who you are, not just what's been between your legs. You see?
yeah,
All you got to do
yeah.
is wait till y'all about 65.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And you gonna see me walk around
Ruby,
25-year-old
Ruby,
tail out the
Emmanuel
door.
Brick has a question for you. So the key to
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
a lasting relationship is erectile dysfunction.
Ooh.
Listen,
Ah,
I was just pointing out a simple fact, okay? Let's be real, right? If
Yeah,
everyone is
that's the
suffering,
route to go. So you guys stay with the vascular, keep it nice and healthy. Don't, yeah.
no,
do your
listen,
dick
be
up.
real.
Do your dick
Right?
up.
If your stuff, if your lady parts stop being responsive, and you're just like, I don't know, it's dead down there, so whatever. And then his junk stop being responsive, it's just dead down there. What motivation do you have to go and cheat on anybody? Try to go find another relationship. You have a vested interest in now in fixing your emotional, psychological friendship connection with this other person that you already live with, okay? And you already
Well, I
established all
agree,
this stuff with.
Ruby. If you have two cars in the front yard and neither one of the engines work, okay, they're stuck with each other. But what if one of those
Yeah.
cars' engines working really well? Does it just take off and leave that other one behind?
Well, I'm going to say this. If the female engine is the one that's still working, in my opinion, without his engine working, she could still be satisfied completely and entirely, as long as he has a willingness to please, which he will if his junk don't work anymore. And so he needs his woman to have a vested interest in why she's staying, to cook and clean and take care of him and love him and da 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 and all that other stuff, right? He ain't working no more. He retired now and stuff. And listen, he's got to make sure that he keeps her staying. So he's gonna figure out a way. And there's lots of ways to please a woman. We all know there is. So
Oh
I'm
Lord.
saying there's lots of ways to please a woman. In fact, some women, I've literally seen this written in like Cosmos and like other women Reddits, subreddits and stuff like that, where women say like the foreplay, right, the oral and the toys and all that stuff, that's their favorite part of sex, right? The rest of it, they mostly do for him, right? But the foreplay part of it is their time to shine. So in and of itself, I think a lot of women, not all, right, but a lot of women, they can, get the big O's and da 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 and feel very good about themselves and their life and their significant other without all the penetration coming directly from his thing. Now if as long as he doesn't go and lose his confidence, and now he doesn't feel like he's a man, he wants to mope around and feel sorry for himself, and now if he can't get none, you don't get none. As long as he doesn't develop that attitude, I think y'all would be all right. That's just me though, right? But that being said, I'm also the one who I really like head. So I don't know, right? Like, I mean, that's
Well, I'm gonna
probably
tell
change my
you.
answer.
I'm gonna tell you, Ruby. I've seen guys be in their 70s and they still, hey there, gal, what you doing? I've seen it. At least here in Chicago, they don't give up. I don't know what they were going to, plan on doing with that younger woman, but it didn't stop them from trying to get their attention.
Yes. It's okay.
They like to holler.
Yeah, it's okay for that healthy flirting, because my brother is up in age now, hitting close to that age, and he says, I'll flirt with him, sis. He said, but then when they trying to get really holler at me, he tells them, I can't do nothing with you. I'm sorry. He said, I just enjoyed the conversation. He just enjoyed the interaction and the flirting back and forth.
Yeah, attention from a beautiful woman.
Yes, and that she responded to him, because it's all in the response. They want a response, a reaction, something from you. I got her to smile. I got her to laugh today. She looked like she was having a bad day, because even when he comes to visit, we go out to eat, and I'm like, people think that, first of all, that we're together, and then they like, he is literally outright flirting with me. I'm like, first of all, this is my brother. We have to clarify that. This is my brother. But then he just enjoys that. He just loves to get that response. He does. So, and I think that's what most of, he better get a tune up. Lord Jesus, Mr. DJ. He better get a tune up. But and like Classy said, if she's oiled up and lubed up and ready to go, you better figure something out. You better be creative.
Thank you.
You better be creative with that.
Leave that car in the front yard.
Yeah, you ain't gonna leave it in the yard, baby.
It needs
I know reverse. I know what reverse look like. I know.
Oh my God. Usually they better have a strong tongue game. Yes, exactly, Emmanuel Briggs. Exactly.
That's why I'm talking. Be creative. You better know the old saying, don't mess with old women. They got worms. That's what they used to say about old men.
No, that's what my grandma used to say about men.
No old man.
Said an old man give you worms. And I was like,
what?
I didn't know
worms. The worms? Wait, what?
Don't be trying to flip it, DJ. It was the old men.
It was the old men. No. That's right.
Oh, what do you mean about worms? What was it? Explain this worms thing. Worms? Little worms?
So like Ruby, I never quite got it, but I was just like,
okay, let me go ahead and explain it to you, lady.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead. Okay, so now they don't shoot out no more. They drizzle out on a string. They don't shoot out. So they look like worms.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I need to take my glasses off because of the picture of what I'm seeing.
I never would have come up with that.
I would have never got
that. The ejaculation part. Okay, and I'm being very serious. From what its studies have shown, it doesn't, after a certain, for most men, if they've not, depending on what they've experienced in life, health issues, whatever, the ejaculation it oozes out, and it doesn't squirt like it used to jump, how they used to jump out. They don't jump out like that anymore. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, okay.
They're tired.
It's slow motion.
The whole damn system is tired.
It's slow motion. Like, nigga, what you trying to do? Okay, we trying to come out. Okay. Give me my walking.
We trying to come out.
I'll get
Now
there when
that's
I
what
get
I
there.
was told. That's what I was told.
Ah,
They not really trying to swim. They not really on a full expedition. They just happy to go. So
Oh boy. Wow.
Oh, I'm in tears here. Oh my goodness. Oh
That's
boy.
terrible. But
All these years I could not figure it out. Never could figure it out. And I
Oh boy.
yeah.
did it.
Oh my
Thank you so
goodness.
much for that information.
no, no,
Surely.
no. Now hold on. I wanna go to something DJ Snoopy said in the chat earlier. So he said, yes, pay her bills and she will accept the hussy. So,
Mm.
Ms. Regina,
Uh-oh.
doesn't matter at all if he's paying all the bills. She ain't gotta work, she ain't gotta do nothing. Everything is taken care of for her. However, he wants his dalliances on the side. Does that make a difference to you?
No, okay. No, don't be specific. Don't get specific with me and say to me, because that doesn't work.
Well, no. The reason why I'm asking you, right? Because you're like, I don't care. I'm gonna tell. And you know what? I don't want to hear from nobody. You better not stay with this guy. So I'm asking
No.
you because of the conversation we had, like to you, because of what DJ Snoopy said. Like, does that make a difference to you if he's the one who's paying all the bills or not? Or like, does that change your opinion of the situation at hand when you're giving your girl your girl advice? Well, he's paying all the bills and taking care of her in every possible way. So, she completely take care of her. She doesn't have to work. She doesn't have to struggle. I'm not saying that that's the situation you're in now. I'm asking you, right?
Yeah,
She
no,
doesn't have to
no,
work.
no.
She doesn't have to struggle. Nothing.
Yeah.
But he wants his dalliances on the side.
Yeah. No.
Love Regina. That's why I asked you, girl. I'm like, what?
Really, let's unpack this a little bit. I mean, is that really a fair trade? I will provide for you and take care of everything where you don't have to worry about anything, but I will have my other women. I will have my other women. Is that really a fair trade?
Right.
Some men think it is. Actually, you know what? When you see some, and they play out this storyline a lot in TV shows, actually. In old school relationships that have been around for 30, 40 years, old money, stuff like that. That's actually exactly what the trade-off is. You never have to work again. Anything you could possibly dream of is yours. You have all the wealth and power and prestige of having this name and this marriage and whatever. And he sleeps with, his little tarts on the side, and you turn a blind eye because they don't matter. They're just idiot little tarts.
That could very well work for a young woman just starting out in life who's never worked, or a woman who's worked her fingers to the bones for many years. But if you're talking about a woman, let's just say average successful woman who's always taken care of herself, supported herself, can do for herself, doesn't live an opulent life, but, is not struggling by any means, of the word, struggle. For someone I think like that, and she knows that she can make this income, she has a retirement, just a whole lot of things going for her with regards to money. So money is really not an option, or it's not even an issue in her life. So I think a woman like that, that definitely is not a good trade.
Mm-hmm.
If she can already do for herself what you're offering to do for her now, a 19, 20, 25-year-old young girl who's not in the workforce, and Oh, of course. I can go shopping. I mean, when we were in our 20s, shopping was always wonderful. That was always great to hear. You can go shopping as much as you want, or someone who's had a really, really hard life, hard upbringing, always worked really hard. So then when you are the Cinderella and you meet this prince and he's going to pay for everything, that might be a nice trade, because he'll have his other women, but right. Or you can just go back to, give me my glass slippers back, and you just go back where you came from.
You know what? I think this is what it comes down to. It comes down to the woman that we're talking about and what her priorities are. Because the thing is, some people have literally given up on the concept of love before they even get into their first relationship. They don't believe in love. They believe that all of life is a trade-off. All of life is a series of business proposals, basically, right?
You know what? That's true. Yeah.
So if that's what you believe, then yeah, what you're looking for is based on, you know, your natural genetics and what else you can, you know, get yourself and whatnot. What's the best possible life that you can get? And then you go find yourself that. So if you're not in that relationship, you know, and to connect with this person on an emotional, deeper level, to become, you know, friends and communicate and romance and this and that, whatever, you are in that relationship for a lifestyle, right? And that's the reason why you're there, for a lifestyle and to give your kids a particular lifestyle, then yeah, absolutely. As long as you keep paying those bills, I'll keep staying, because that's why I'm there. That's the only reason why I'm there. I'm not there out of love. I'm not there out of obligation. I'm there because you provided me a particular lifestyle that I'm looking for me and my kids, which also means, therefore, you stop providing that lifestyle, I go elsewhere, while I can. So, you know, likewise though, right, and this is where I said it depends on the woman, because some women might want a slightly better lifestyle. They feel like, hey girl, you know, you got it flaunted, and the good Lord gave me all this stuff to flaunt with, and you know, I put some money and time and energy into my education as well, so I can do for myself. And so I feel like overall, you know, I'm a good woman. You know, I got great qualities, great traits, and whatever. I got a degree behind me, so that way, in case we ever fall on hard times, I can go walk into a lawyer's office, not into Walmart, you know, to help supplement our income, and so on and so forth. And so, hey, I think I'm a catch, and I deserve a guy who's a catch. And part of that is how well he can provide without having to work, you know, 20-hour days. And so, you know, then she'll be like, all right, great. And so then he's going to say, well, I want you to stay home with the kids. And she's going to say, yeah, I wanted to be able to do that too. Great. And so she's going to stay home and you're going to be paying the bills. But if that relationship, she was looking for one and she found one and she loved the guy and respects the guy, falls in love with the guy, thinks that they are bonded, mutual respect, mutual adoration, mutual fidelity, and these are things they agree to and those are important to her, then it doesn't matter if you're paying the bills and that's all that there is to it, right? Because if fidelity was number one on her list, right? She cannot be happy, safe, or secure in a relationship where you cheat. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. Then as soon as you cheat, she's gone, right? So you got to look at the individual woman. I'm going to say the majority of women, though, that's not enough. It's just not. They need the love. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So true. It's not because it's not about the money. It's about how you treat me and how we feel with each other and how we're vibing with each other. It has nothing to do with the economic status at that time. Because I used to tell my ex-husband I would be broke. He was like, if we didn't have this house, we can be in a shack with a phone jack. I'm good as long as I'm with you and I want to be with you. I just need a phone jack. That's all. Shack and a phone jack. That's all I need. And I'm good. Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? They used to put this reality in TV shows. They don't really tell us so much about these relationships, and we don't see this as much. But so if you look at whether it was like the Cosbys or these other relationships that had lasted for a very long time and were now successful, they always told stories of when they first got together. They were broke as all hell, you know, eating ramen, you know, could barely afford this and that and the next thing in their little, you know, junkyard of an apartment, you know. They always tell you about how hard things were, and they were okay with that. They married each other under those hard conditions and supported each other through that. Under those hard conditions, they were good with that. They were happy with that. What them getting to the level of success that they got to was not because one or the other of them was like money hungry. It was actually because they were in a happy, successful relationship, which literally does make you 40% more successful in your lifetime. So because they found that level of happiness and support and whatever, they were able to thrive. And so you thrive, you go from your shack and you're able to just keep building up, and you're not trying to force anything. You're not trying to sit there and cripple yourselves with crazy debt to try to pretend you're something you're not and whatever, right? You move up in reasonable amounts, and it's okay. Well, we can get a small house for now while we're saving up for the big one, and so you get your small house, so that way you're not paying rent anymore, and you know what I mean, you're moving up in these reasonable ways, and then boom, people look at it and they're like, God damn, you have so much and we have so little. Well,
but
they didn't just
come so far. Yeah,
right, they come so far, and you look at that, and they used to teach us that through TV shows all the time. They don't tell us that anymore in TV shows. Like, and I mean, like, Black TV shows, they used to tell us that all the time.
Yeah, they don't. It's partnership. You get together, you have a plan, work toward it, and there you go.
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, we're all on the same page. And even when it was forced, you got a pregnant, you better marry her. Okay, well, okay. And then we're gonna do this together. Now what it looks like on the end result is a whole nother thing, but it was what it was at that time. We'll do it together.
Exactly.
Yes.
And everyone saw it that way and appreciated it for what it was. So, like, and I don't know if everyone's seen it, the Betty Broderick case. Right, but I love that they showed this, because they showed her. She sat there. If she had not been willing to work, even while she was pregnant, to support her husband through first med school, then law school, because he decided med school wasn't good enough for him, there's no way he would have had either of those degrees. That was on her, working and supporting their house, then them with their child and her pregnant, and you know what I mean? And then 2 children. That was all her working. If she hadn't done that, he wouldn't be able to have what he had, And why did she lose her mind? Because afterwards he said, you didn't help me get any of this. What? What? Remember when you want to just sit there and keep working at that other law office under someone's thumb and try to, get to one step up in, 15 years. And I told you go out, break out on your own. And I encouraged you. I told you could do it. I told you I'll support you through it no matter what. And I did. Remember that? And that's why you're so successful now. Remember when that happened? Oh, wait, no, you don't remember? See, we forget that someone else's support, being a team with someone, is so pivotal. It makes such a big difference.
Somebody gonna get shot. Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
That's what happened.
Oh, it did? Oh, she shot him? Yay! Yeah. I mean,
him and the secretary turned
white.
Yeah, and the wife.
Go, girl.
Yep. Oh, yep. Oh yeah, first he gaslit her though. He did all kinds of stuff. Gaslit her, then took her kids away, then took her house away, took everything away from her, screwed her in the divorce settlement, so she basically got absolutely nothing, not even the right to see her kids. Then she went and killed him and his wife, pretty much. His new 22-year-old shiny doll of a wife. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I am going because I see what he's putting in the chat room. We're going to some other territory. I'm gonna go ahead and play these commercials, and we're going to go ahead and end the show. We have talked about the subject. It was wonderful. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you guys joining in the conversation.
Te amo.
And thank you, everyone. Y'all. I appreciate you. I'm going to play the commercials. And if you are available tomorrow, join us tomorrow for article reaction at 6:30 p.m. Central. And until then, peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Join Char Willie and Classic Ruby for their radio show, Keep the Beat. They broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CRBJ, Classic R&B Jams. There are discussions of the songs, and that can take you back down memory lane. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. Replays are uploaded on Mixcloud. So, follow JustAskChar Advice Channel on Mixcloud, and you will receive the notification when these broadcasts are uploaded.
Hey folks, it's your nighttime, it's your right time DJ Music. Make sure you join Char Willie each and every Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, for Article Reaction, right here on your local YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to Article Reaction.